Om Shri Sadgurave Namaः. I bow down at the holy lotus feet of true Guru, whose words of wisdom are like mighty sunbeams to dispel the darkness of ignorance. Guru, the beneficence personified, takes the disciple to meet the Supreme Being. I offer my humblest obeisance again and again to such a benevolent Guru. Blessed is Guru, whose glory is indescribable in words. Whatever little I could or would say is only because of his compassionate grace. Oh, hello viewers. Jai Guru, Radha Swami, Vaheguru, Satya Ram Sahab, Namaste. We are here with a new series of new talk which is related to what we had discussed in the previous one. Though at the end of the previous talk, I had said that now we are going to discuss the structure of how various stages or levels or layers of creation came into being. But later on, it occurred to me that I had missed one dimension of the discussion, one aspect of the talk issue that we had taken up in the previous episode. And I thought that this lecture we could devote to discussing that. If you remember, we had seen that increasing order of subtlety leads us towards greater and greater sense of unity. As our vision becomes subtler and subtler, we start seeing subtler and subtler through the universe till we have a glimpse of the subtlest of all beings, that is, the ultimate reality or the supreme sovereign. We had also discussed that every day we keep on passing through three different states of our existence, namely waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. Now, what is important to observe here is that change in state leads to change in place and change in our knowledge. That is, as our state changes from one to another, our place, our seat in the body also changes, and so does our knowledge, our cognizance, our awareness. And we are going to take up this in today's lecture. What I mean to say is that so long as we are awake, we are in the wakeful state, then the seat of the individual soul, it remains in the eyes, and to be more precise, in between the two eyes, that is known as the third eye or sushumna or the 10th door. Okay, why it is known as third eye? Because these two eyes we see, and apart from that, there is one hidden eye that lies in between them, in the center of them, inside us. And that is why the name third eye. Why 10th door? Because we have got 9 other major doors, 2 of eyes, 2 of ears, 2 of nose, one mouth, and one each for excretion of urine and stool. So these are the 9 doors or gates that are present in our body, and there lies a 10th gate inside us, which is opposite in nature to all these 9 doors, because each of these 9 doors opens outwards. Okay, that is, eyes are open and they see the things or beings which lie in the outside world. Similarly, our ears are receptive to the sounds that are produced in the outside world. Our nose gathers a smell of things that lie in the outside world. Same with all these 9 organs. But there is a 10th door which opens inwards. And when it opens, we start seeing things which lie within us. So this is 10th door. It has also been called as single eye in the Bible, wherein, say, in a very, you can say, coded language kind of thing, it has been said that if thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So what is indicated or implied over there is that when we are awake, when our awareness is at the level of our gross body, then we see through these 2 eyes. But when, by following a tact taught to us by an adept master, we start concentrating, gathering, collecting our awareness, which shrinks into one place in the center of these 2 eyes, then the hidden eye opens, and these 2 eyes would appear to have merged into that and become a single eye. When that inner eye opens, then we start seeing all the resplendence that lies within us, all the glorious, dazzling spectacles that lie within us. That is, the divine kingdom opens up unto us. So that is what is meant, that if thy eye be single, so long as our awareness is scattered in both eyes, if we close our eyes, we see a vast sea of darkness within us. We cannot visualize anything by keeping our eyes closed. But when our awareness gathers, collects in a single point, that single eye opens and we see everything that was hitherto dark and dark only, it becomes replete with dazzling light, which has been compared to the, say, light equivalent to that which could be produced by 1,000 or 1,000,000 of suns. And still it is so cool, so soothing. So that is why single eye, 10th door, Sushumna is the Sanskrit word. Agya Chakra. Agya means permission. Okay, chakra means cycle. So this is the wheel or cycle where if we can establish ourselves, then we get agya or permission of God to enter into his kingdom. So that is why it is also known as agya chakra. It is also called as Shiva Netra. Netra means again eyes, the third eye, which was opened by Lord Shiva. That is why it is also known as Shiva Netra. Okay, it is also known as third till. Till is sesame, which is very small in size, and so is this point, which is visualized within us. So that is why it is known as till also. 2 tills of both eyes, and this is the third till. Or it is also known as Brahma Randhra. Randhra again means a very, very minute passage hole, and Brahma means divine. So this is a divine passage. So in the waking state, when so these are the various names by which this is known as, and when we are in waking state, then seat of the individual soul remains here, from where it gets scattered all through our body, all through our sensory organs, and we are able to cognize, perceive our own body, gross body, and all other things, non-living things and living beings, creatures, etc. around us. That is, we get to know the entire universe around us. Okay, so long as we are in the waking state, our consciousness remains scattered through, or say, all through the whole of our body. But what happens when we move into dreaming state? See, we had started with the statement that change in state leads to change in place or seat and change in knowledge, level of knowledge. So when we are woken, when we are in the wakeful state, this is our place, and we are, say, aware of our own gross body and the whole world around us. But when we move into the state of dream, then what happens? As the state changes, the place of the individual, the seat of the individual soul also changes, and it descends to the throat, where it is said to be the place of vowels. Vowels are necessary for pronouncing anything, and therefore our Guru Maharshi Mehi Paramhans ji would say that sometimes people are seen to be speaking in their dreams also. So when we start dreaming, the seat of the individual soul, it comes down, it is lowered to throat. And as a result of this, our knowledge also changes. When we start dreaming, we become oblivious of the world around us. Why the world around us? We become ignorant of our own body also. We acquire an altogether different body, which is, say, imaginary, which is a creation of our mind. So we acquire a mental body, and we also create a mental world around us. So many different persons, other creatures, places, etc. we see in our dreams. What are those? They are nothing but the creation of our own mind only, our own mind. And now we are not able to see the gross body and gross world around us, but whatever we see within, in the dream state, they also appear so very real as those that we see, encounter in the gross universe when we are awake. So our knowledge changes. We come to the level of our mental awareness. Our sense organs are very much there, but they don't work. Okay, our whole body does not perform any action. Like, say, we see with our eyes, but even if we are sleeping with open eyes and we are dreaming, then we will not see the things in my bedroom, but I'll see all that I am dreaming. Our ears are always open, but now they fail to hear the sounds that are being produced in the external world. Rather, we are harking the sounds that are getting produced in that mental world. Okay, it doesn't matter so long as we are, say, dreaming, that if one puts a fragrant rose or a putrefied, rotten food to our nose, because our nose no longer they are sensing the smell. So this is the difference. Change of state causes change of place and change of knowledge. What is more, that suppose we have seen something in our dream which is to our liking. We would love to have that happening in our real life, that is when even when we are awake. But now I like that dream so much that I would love to see it again. So can we redream that? It's not within our control. What we see in our dream is not within our control. And then our sleep deepens and we slip into a state of dreamless sleep, sound slumber. Then what happens? Again, the seat of the individual soul comes further down to the level of heart. And as the change of place happens, it results in change of knowledge also. Change of state. We first were woken up, then started dreaming, came here, and now we have moved into a state of sound sleep. So change of place also results is a natural corollary of our change of state. So now we come to the level of heart. And what happens to the level of knowledge, to the nature of quality of knowledge? That there is no knowledge at all. We are completely ignorant, oblivious. Now even that mental world is gone. Because it was the creation of mind, and when we move into the state of deep sleep, then mind also goes to sleep, and therefore we are neither aware of the gross body, gross world, which is there in the woken state, wakeful state, nor the mental body and mental world. There is no body, no world. Out of all the 14 organs, only one is functioning, and all 13 have gone into sleep. We have seen in our earlier discussions also that there are 10 outer or external organs, 5 sensory organs, and 5 organs of action. Sensory organs, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And organs of action, we have got, say, hands, legs, mouth, and 2 excretory organs. So 5 plus 5, 10. We have got external organs, and 4 internal organs are known as mind, intellect, individual consciousness, chitta, and ego. So out of these 14, 13 are now completely inactive, and only one called as chitta or individual consciousness that remains. And it is this chitta that pulsates, that keeps our heart beating, that allows, that enables our lungs to function, that keeps our body alive, though in an inert state, in an, say, uncognizant or insentient state. But the vital organs of the body keep functioning because of this chitta, individual consciousness, and it is this which also keeps a record of our state of not knowing anything. Even we don't know anything is also a kind of awareness. Okay, we are sleeping is also a kind of awareness. So when we wake up from our sleep, then it is this chitta which keeps a record and which makes us think or tell that yes, I slept very peacefully today. So this comes due to that chitta. So when we are in our deep sleep state, so change of state, change of place, and change of knowledge also. What we have observed from this, these 3 states, changes of states, what do they demonstrate? that as we go on descending, as we start coming down, as we move lower and lower, our knowledge also progressively declines, degrades, and finally takes us to complete total ignorance as we move into the state of dreamless sleep. And the same thing could be understood from another angle also. This is also very interesting, actually, that suppose some of our, say, beloved ones is crying, is he or she is so sad, and he is crying, then it's our natural reaction. We console him or her and take out our handkerchief sometimes and give it to him to wipe out his or her tears. But suppose wax is coming out of someone's ears, will we, with equal, say, ease, be able to offer our handkerchief to that person that, yes, please wipe out this wax? No, because now it seems to be too dirty to us. And then think that someone has got a blowing nose, then again we'll be very reluctant to offer our handkerchief. Now, even this idea, this talk might be sounding, say, so abhorrent to some of you. And then think of going further down, and we have two excretory organs. Oh, will you stop talking further? Might be the reaction that could be coming to you, some of you. What do we get from this sample? You see, eyes they occupy the highest place. And as we start moving down, down and down, down and down, then we are moving towards increasing order of filthiness, dirtiness. Okay, that as I say, we start moving down, it becomes less and less pure. It becomes more and more dirty. The very idea, as I said, could be sounding repulsive to what all this person is discussing today. Now, what do we conclude from both of these examples, illustrations? That our descension, our moving down, leads us towards increasing levels of ignorance, increasing levels of dirtiness or filthiness. On the contrary, as we start rising above and above, we move towards increased level or better awareness and cleanliness also. And as a natural corollary, okay, this thread of thinking could very well tempt us to ask, what if we moved beyond above our eyes also? Is it possible? And if yes, then what would be the consequence of that? Would it lead us to even to a place of even greater, okay, awareness, better awareness, and purer or more sacred realms? The answer given by those who have experienced that state is an emphatic yes. Yes, it is. That is, if we can move ourselves beyond, above our eyes or within our eyes, then again, as I said, change of state leads to change of place. The change of place is that now we move within or above our eyes. And what is the change in our knowledge? What is the state of a person who has moved within his eyes or above his eyes? What happens to him? Then those who have done so, they say that It's a fantastic world over there. As I said, full of resplendence, full of radiance, full of dazzling lights. Okay, all kinds of mesmerizing worlds, they open up to such a one who has moved his consciousness even within that, who has moved inside that single eye, or the 10th door, or the third eye, or sushumna. His experience is much beyond the three states of wakefulness, dream, and deep sleep. And what's more, these three states, they come to us as a natural cycle every day. They come spontaneously. We don't have to make conscious efforts for them. Every day we go to sleep, we usually dream almost every night, and we wake up. So these three states, they are coming to us as a natural cycle, everyday diurnal cycle, or maybe twice in a day if we sleep during afternoon also. We don't have to make any conscious efforts for that, except for those who suffer from, say, this diseases like insomnia, etc. But if we want to move beyond this I, then it doesn't come naturally. We have to make conscious efforts for that. We have to learn the tact, the skill, the method which could take us beyond this state. And not only learning is not, say, uh, learning alone is not sufficient. We have to practice that tact sincerely, regularly, and assiduously. And if we do that, then what happens? Okay, what happens when we moved into the fourth state? Third, three states we have seen. Okay, starting from down deep sleep, heart, dream, throat, and eyes. That is wakeful state. And what is the name of the state that lies above this? That is known as Turiya. 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 Turiya literally means fourth. So this is the fourth state. And what happens when we, or for that matter, anyone can move into that state of Turiya? Then our external organs become as good as inert. His body would appear like a log of wood. Okay. Our senses cease to work. Respiration ceases. Seen outwardly, such a one might seem to have fallen unconscious. Okay. Or maybe like a dead person. But outwardly, his eyes are not able to see, his ears are not able to hear, his nose is not able to say smell, his tongue is not able to taste, his skin is not able to touch. But within himself or herself, he or she is fully alert and fully aware. He perceives an altogether different world, astral world, within this body itself. All these spectacles can be seen within our own body. We don't have to go to any, as a remote place to experience that. And not only that, that is, we acquire an astral body just as we acquire a mental body when we have moved into the state of dream. Similarly, here we get an astral body, and there is an astral universe in which we can roam, we can see things that are lying there. We can meet similar persons who have practiced this art to such a level that they have also moved into that astral universe. You can see, you can meet there. Suppose we, two or three of us are guru brothers and guru sisters, and we are practicing this meditation sincerely, then we have moved into there, and there we can meet each one of us. So we are aware of the astral body, astral world, as well as we are fully aware of whatever is happening in this gross world. whatever is happening to this gross world. Such a person who has moved into the state of Turiya, the fourth state, he can visualize things happening at a great distance far away. By sitting in a small place in India, he or she can see what is happening in United States of America or Norway or Africa or on Mars or Saturn or any other galaxy. That is, at the same time, he gets knowledge of both the inner world as well as the outer world. What else? The mind of such a one becomes much purified because he has seen that resplendence within. Now he no longer hankers to run after the worldly sensory objects. He does not find interest in mundane things, the same scenes, the same person, the same wealth, which used to attract him a lot, now appear so insipid, so boring, so worthless to him, because now he has tasted something which is extraordinary, which is supernatural, which he or she had never imagined in the wildest of his or her imagination. Such is his state. So, what we say that the sense of, you can say, uh, disinterestedness, dispassion comes very naturally and spontaneously to such a person. He doesn't have to crave, he doesn't have to counsel himself intellectually that please don't find interest in such things. They are not going to take you to a state of peace. No. Now, naturally, he will feel no inclination towards the most spectacular of things in the outside world. Okay, even the most tempting of scenes or things or objects now would appear so very disinteresting to him. Restraint or abstention comes so very naturally to such a one. And the pleasure that he gets by remaining in that state now tempts him to move further. He, he tries, he strives to delve deeper and deeper, to move into realms higher and higher. He becomes ready, ever willing, enthusiastic to launch himself into, to explore even higher or deeper realms. Okay, which ultimately this type of say striving, this types of efforts will takes such a meditator, such a practitioner higher and higher, higher or deeper and deeper, and it continues, the journey continues till he has reached the state of perfection, the state of ultimate reality, the state of supreme being, beyond which nothing is left to know. Where our search completely ends, we are filled with a sense of satisfaction and satiation that is ever permanent. Yeah, that becomes eternal. We never lose such a sense of happiness, pleasure, bliss, satiation, contentment. Okay, so this is what the yogis strive for. And this is the goal of all those who have got spiritual aspirations or leanings. But how would we reach into that fourth or Turiya state? As I said earlier, this requires one to learn tact, to learn the required method or skill. And for that, you have to seek the company of such a one who has already perfected that art. That is, we have to approach humbly such an enlightened being who has himself mastered this art, and we could call him anything, any name that we like. Okay, he could be called a guru, he could be called a master, he could be called an adept, he could be called a trainer, he could be called a coach, or he could be called as our mentor, or anything, a friend, whatever you would like to. We don't let us not fight over semantics, but such a person, as I earlier said also, that if I want to learn tennis, then I'll have to approach the one who knows that sport very well. If I want to study engineering, I'll have to approach teachers who know engineering, who are themselves engineers. Or similarly, doctors or sewing or cooking. It holds good for every field of learning, and so does it for the spiritual domain also. And such a person in, as a Indian terrain, is called as a guru. Guru is a composite word which is formed of two words, gu and ru. Gu stands for darkness, darkness of ignorance, and ru means dispeller. He who can dispel the darkness of ignorance. That is why every talk I start with prayer to such a one, such a guru, who is capable, whose words of wisdom have the power to dispel the darkness of ignorance that we are all the time filled with. So in this lecture, I wanted to say push this very aspect or dimension of thinking. That is, if somehow we rise higher and higher, then we move towards greater and greater purity. And as we enter this 10th door or third eye, and this is possible only when we are able to gather our consciousness, concentrate ourselves, say our awareness, which is scattered all through our body, it has to be collected, ascended to meet into a single point, to shrink into a single point. That is, we attain the state of single pointedness. And because point is very small, so that is also known as a divine whole or divine as a door or gate. And if we enter through, and that gate, because point is very narrow, so that's why it has been advised, exhorted in the Bible also, that enter through the narrow gate. This is that narrow gate. This is that single eye. Enter through the narrow gate, because there are many who enter through the wide gate, which leads towards death and destruction. Those who enter through this narrow gate, they are led into the kingdom of immortality. And there are very few who have got this inclination, okay, who have got this inquisitiveness to learn the technique and practice this, and those who are able to move through this narrow gate. See, point is subtle, and in the previous talk we had seen that increasing order of subtlety takes us closer and closer to the unity, and that God is unity personified, because nothing except Him actually exists. Everything else is an illusion. So He is the only one who had been, who is, and who will always remain. He is the only unity, ultimate reality. And for that, we'll have to acquire subtlety. As we go on becoming subtler and subtler and subtler, then finally we become the subtlest and become one with that, merge into that subtlest being, that is God, and we ourselves, the Son of God, also becomes God. So again, this also reinforces what we had discussed in the previous talk. And now we are in a state where we will see how we can reach here, and from where our journey has been till we have come here. So for that, we'll have to understand the structure of the creation of the scheme of creation of the different planes of universes or creation. So that in the next lecture, hope you would have liked uh, today's talk, what we have discussed today, they sound logical and rational, and if you don't think, if you have any, so if you don't agree or if you have any clarifications or doubts relating to this, I'll be too happy to know of them, and if I can resolve, I'll try to say clarify those doubts if it is within my abilities. And please don't feel hesitant to put your honest feedback in the comment box. And if you like the talk, then kindly also subscribe this channel so that it acts as a kind of support and encouragement to me, and you also will be getting notifications from time to time. So thank you all for being with me. Thank you for hearing with all the patience. Okay, namaste, Jai Guru, Radha Swami, Vahe Guru, Satyara Sahab.